everyone. Today we're going to take a look at Warhammer Quest. Warhammer Quest is the classic board game from Games Workshop and is brought to us by Rodeo Games, the makers of the Hunter series on iOS. Let's take a look and see how this game compares to others on the platform and whether it's worth your hard-earned cash. This game is at its heart a dungeon crawl experience. You have an overworld that lets you get into different adventures, but the main gameplay is going room by room through dungeons. As you go through dungeons, you'll encounter creatures which you must battle. Each of your characters has different abilities. Some are better at melee attacks, while others will stick around doing ranged attacks for better effect. You will face off against mainly orcs and goblins, but there are also spiders, rats, bats, trolls, and others to face off against. In the game, each character model animates uniquely, and what's cool is that even with the enemy characters, they've changed the way they look. So there are some that look similar, but there are also several variations, just like you would have in a normal Warhammer game. Also, your own characters will change as they get new armor and equipment. Their models will reflect those changes, which is interesting and also adds a level of progression mentally into the game. The game features a pretty great UI system. The controls are pretty straightforward, and how you access the different abilities and information about them is pretty clear. There could be a few fixes to this, a few things that aren't exactly clear. Sometimes it's hard to see what your movement range is with the colors of tiles on the board. Also, I would love to have the inventory a little more easily accessible. Currently, you turn the device, which I can't show you here as my video was not working properly, but it would be nice if you could just hit a button for the inventory if turning your device was not an option. As you can see, you explore room after room, and each room has a unique design. There are several to choose from, and the game will randomly assign them in the dungeons, and it's very interesting to see the level of detail that's been given to these different rooms. It really is refreshing to see such a high level of design in a game such as this. It really harkens back to the board game itself, and also just an overall experience of exploration. As mentioned before, there is an overworld which you use to access the different quests. There are several settlements to discover, each one having a unique quest to tackle. These main quests are more challenging and generally have diverse story elements to them. Apart from this, there are random quests which you can tackle. These random quests allow you to almost continually play the game rather than quickly moving through the game and starting a new game. This allows you to really own your characters and really feel like there's a good level of control and fun to the game. If you feel like a challenge is too hard for you, take some time to grind in some of the other dungeons and earn some cool loot or things such as that. In town, you can also shop, buy new equipment, you can also level up your characters or sell things that you've earned in dungeons. All of this is just your basic RPG fare and makes sense within the system, and is also great to have these hub points to work from. If you're enjoying the game, which I expect you will, you can quickly download new content for the game. The game is quite lengthy, but you can download the Skaven pack, which adds a whole new realm of content to explore. There's also new characters to try out, such as the Troll Slayer and the Warrior Priest, which are all classics from the Warhammer universe. So if you're a big fan, there's a lot here for you. My one concern with this game actually is one of the DLC, which is you can purchase gold for the game. The gold in the game is used to level up your characters, buy new items, etc. So if you want to make things a little easier, you can buy gold in the early game to make your characters progress faster. However, I feel like this system is fine. If people want to pay for this, that's great. What bugs me here is that the game can actually randomly take your gold away from you. There are random events on the world map as you walk around, and some of them result in half of your gold being missing or a third of your gold being missing. This seems a little strange, as gold is something you can purchase, and seems a little self-serving in the eyes of the developers. Again, I'm not outraged about this. I never really felt like I hit a paywall. I'm just saying it seems a little strange in such an excellent game to suddenly have this sort of cheesy iOS in-app purchase system functioning. Warhammer Quest, I have to say, is perhaps the best dungeon crawling experience on iOS. There have been several to choose from, but none has been as polished as this. Warhammer Quest is very quick to do away with a lot of the unnecessary elements. For example, some other games in this genre on the system require long battles where the enemies are full of HP and it just takes a long time to kill them. It's not about fun, it's just about prolonged gameplay. Warhammer Quest, of course, takes the board game approach and things are quick and dirty. No need to have long, drawn-out battles. This is great and allows for players to quickly progress through the game. This, however, can be also a backlash to the game, as in some cases, players can feel like they are playing just too simple of a game. The game is somewhat basic in a lot of its dungeon crawling elements, which is to be expected with a board game, but for these reasons, it can feel a little shallow in the long term of playing. I'm probably sounding a little schizophrenic here now, but that being said, I really feel like the game has been a lot of fun. I've been playing it for almost 8 hours, I believe, at this point, and it's been great to experience all the different dungeons, even though, yes, the combat can seem the same, but that level of exploration, that feeling of always something new around the corner and some new threat is still there, and I believe that I will have many hours of fun with this and its impending expansions. The game is lovingly crafted. The graphics are great, and it looks beautiful on many accounts. The designers here have really harkened back to what made Warhammer Fantasy great, and have tried to capture that in the best way I've seen on the system so far. I definitely recommend this one to pick up for sure. It may not be a perfect iOS game, but it definitely is close to one of the best dungeon crawlers available on the system, and you owe it to yourself to check it out, whether you're a fan of Warhammer Quest or not.